Joining me now, Newsmax contributor Deneen Borelli, alongside the president of the Judicial Crisis Network, Carrie Severino, and also with us, president of Strollmark LLC, Hilary Fordwich. Hilary, I'm going to start with you here. The UK judges deciding on something practical. Yes, there is a biological difference between men and women. Give us a little insight, any nuances that stand out to you there.
Yes, absolutely, Katrina, and smashing being back with you. A few things here. A lot has gone on in Scotland, and some of it really hasn't made the US press. And that was that somebody called Isla Bryson was born a male and was jailed and went to a male prison, but then changed genders and was then in a female prison and committed 2 rapes. It was ghastly back in 2022. So that really affected Scotland. And then also, don't forget, out of Scotland, there was Hayley Davison, who was a male, born a male, then tried to join the LPGA tour. So there was a lot of, outrage about that. So these 2 factors have really played a lot. But there where J.K. Rowling said, she was absolutely right. There were 3 women who simply would not let this go, Women for Scotland, but also another group called Sex Matters. And they've really pushed. And again, don't forget, they went up against the Scottish government, the UK government, and Amnesty International weighed in against them. So these 3 women were so tenacious, given those rapes and things that had happened in Scotland, they did not give up. We all, I think, across the world, owe them a lot of gratitude. And last but not least, what this really means, it started out with regard also to women on boards and lots of business issues, but it means that now there will be safe spaces, not just in prisons, but in sports and across the nation. And hopefully this affects the worldview that a woman is a woman, and no longer will we pussyfoot around this issue. I'm sorry for the pun.
I hope you're right. All right. This morning, I want to move on to this, Deneen. Attorney General Pam Bondi spoke on another ongoing issue regarding women's rights with the announcement of that lawsuit against the state of Maine over biological men in women's sports. Watch.
Today, the Department of Justice is announcing a civil lawsuit against the Maine Department of Education. This is about sports. This is also about these young women's personal safety. We have exhausted every other remedy. We tried to get Maine to comply. We don't like standing up here and filing lawsuits. Maine's leadership has refused to comply at every turn. So now we have no other choice. We are taking them to court.
Deneen, it was a matter of time. We'd heard President Trump before have that back and forth with Maine's governor, where she said, I'll see you in court. And he said, I look forward to it. Well, I guess the time has come.
And he also said, get your resume ready as well, something to that effect. Look, Hillary made some really great points. And what this really comes down to, I think, is not only a competitive aspect to keep males out of female spaces, but the safety aspect. It could be female shelters, as Hillary mentioned, female prisons. But the sports, what parent will want a male on their female daughter, their child's team? Because the competitive aspect, males are bigger, faster, and stronger. So females are losing out across the board. But again, it does come down to the safety aspect, where females, young girls and women, will feel safe in these female spaces.
Yeah, exactly. Deneen, you and Hillary both, made that point very clearly. Carrie, that's what we're hearing from the UK Supreme Court. This is not about pushing out any individuals. This is about protecting biological women. And again, that seems incredibly practical. And it seems crazy to me that we have lost sight of practicality and safety for women after women have fought so hard for so long.
Yeah, it seems like we're just trying to not see the obvious in front of us. I actually do have a biology degree, but I don't think you should need one to understand what a woman is. And the UK Supreme Court said effectively that. They said these words in their ordinary and plain and unambiguous meaning are self-explanatory. They shouldn't require further explanation, and that man and woman is simply a binary thing. The UK has other ways of recognizing people who want to have gender treatments to try to present as a different sex. But as a matter of legal principles, it makes sense to treat them as a man and a woman. And that's what this is doing.
Yeah, Carrie, real quick before we run out of time, do want to get your thoughts on that Pam Bondi, her commentary, and of course that lawsuit against Maine.
Yeah, I think this is the federal government's job, is to make sure the states are following federal law and following the Constitution. I'm glad to see that they're going to be protecting women in Maine, and especially as a mother of female athletes, young women in sports, so that they have a fair and safe opportunity to play.
All right, we're going to leave it there. Carrie, Deneen, Hilary, great conversation. Thanks for joining me on The Other View.
Thank
Pleasure.
you.